Gong is a professor at the University of International Business and Economics and a China forum expert. He's joining us live from Beijing. A warm welcome. So why do you think China is so against the US building a dome of its own then?
Well, I think for two reasons. One is that this is clearly a militarization of outer space. And we're talking about installation of systems that essentially are of military use in the orbits of the Earth. The second reason is that it inevitably will lead to an arms race, I would say. I think the other nuclear powers, including Russia and China, and possibly even other, some minor nuclear powers or not powers, nuclear possessing countries, even including North Korea, would be, thinking about something very similar. So I think this idea of hitting a bullet with another bullet, or hitting a rocket with another rocket, I don't think it's going to be technologically very successful. Certainly not within the 3 years left in President Trump's term, and this is a huge price tag on it. I think Democrats in Congress are absolutely right that the United States will be much better off spending the $175 billion on something else other than something that started out in the Reagan administration, has never been successful, has never proved to be the capability ever since then. So many decades have passed. I think this is going nowhere.
So you think it's not really feasible. So let's maybe park the 3 years then for a moment and suggest maybe 10, 15, 20 years. Is it not inevitable given the fact that much of Earth is militarized? So it kind of makes sense to go into space, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the price tag that I've seen, some people say it's going to be even $500 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money in the context of the rising federal budget deficit, rising United States debt. Today, the U.S. government spends over about $1 trillion. At one point, even higher expenditures on serving debt than on defense. It just doesn't make sense. I don't think it's going to be financially sustainable. And I'm skeptical that technologically it can be successful within the time frame that President Trump is talking about. And let alone, it has profound implications on the entire human society, on other countries. I think an arms race during the Soviet era was already bad enough. And I think the resumption of that kind of arms race, in this case into outer space, is rolling the clock back. It's not a progressive agenda.
You mentioned the Soviet era then. So what about the likes of Russia, even India, that have that space capacity to be able to do such a thing should they want to?
I think definitely they are concerned. I think every country that has the capability, has potentially have this kind of a capability or partial capability, would be doing something similar. The United States defense budget is larger than the combination of the next, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries. It already has the best armed force, in my view, on the planet. Why would it be, spending so much money on something that that it's remotely technologically feasible and that causes arms race in other countries? I don't think that's a good cause for human race. I think the money would be much better spent on, say, addressing the climate change.
Well, it's certainly fascinating. Thank you so very much indeed. That's Gong there, Professor at the University of International Business and Economics and a China forum expert. We appreciate that from Beijing.
Thank you.